Well, we always thought, in fact, we all used to always joke that people were going to be shooting at him and get me, and then he'd preach my funeral. You know, and sort of clown about it. And so there was really never much fear of death. And at that time, I would have been tickled to death if it had been me. I was much more afraid of living in these United States without him than I was of dying.
You would have been tickled to death to have
Sure.
it be you rather than him.
I mean, I always did see death as a reward, as a blessing, as something that comes at the end of whenever you're through with your time on this earth. And
there was a time during the march in St. Augustine, Florida, when you were looking at the possibility of death, were you not, in that situation?
well, I was, but I didn't have sense enough to know it. And I guess the thing that bothered me most was that I was in a line of march with about 100 mostly women and children. And it was my job to see nothing happen to them because they were innocent. And we were leading them out into the valley of the shadow of death. We knew where we were going, we knew what we were doing, and we knew why. But it was a terrible burden to awaken someone from their slumbering lethargy and inspire them to want to be free. Because then they'd get what we used to call freedom high. And they had no fear. And they would do reckless things. And it was important. It was important for us to be in front. I mean, not only to protect them from the mob, but to protect them from themselves. Because, I mean, it's a tremendous experience when you've been singing all your life, and before I'd be a slave, I'd be buried in my grave, go home to my Lord and be free. And then all of a sudden you say, damn it, I mean it. I'm ready to go. You know, and the hell with anybody that gets in my way. And when people get that kind of freedom high, that's what happened to the kids in Tiananmen Square. You know, I mean, somebody, and the leaders understood that, but the leaders couldn't get them out of the square in time. And so they got slaughtered, and in some sense, the Chinese freedom movement was set back. And I think it was because we understood what we were doing. And
did you really understand what you were doing when you walked up to those guys?
Yeah, I did.
And even the second time after you'd been beaten, and you walked back up to them again to try and talk to them?
Yeah. No, I mean, I had said a year before in Birmingham, you know, when they put the dogs on us, I said, look, is there anybody here? How many has been bit by a dog? Say, and I've been bitten by a dog. No big deal about being bit by a dog. How many have been hit in the head with a baseball bat? I mean, I've been hit with a bat. See, hit with a golf club. I mean, it was. We had calculated the cost, and it was. I honestly believe that I had been treated just about as rough in a fraternity initiation at Howard University as I was by a mob in St. Augustine. And part of my appreciation for that fraternity initiation was that it taught us and helped us to not lose your cool in those kind of, you know, potentially dangerous situations. So the important thing was not to get upset and not to stop thinking. The logic of nonviolence is that when you get emotional, the blood rushes from your veins, from your brain, and you get a fight syndrome. the important thing is to keep the blood in your brain and to keep thinking. And as my daddy told me from the time I was a baby, don't get mad, get smart. See, if you're in a fight and lose your temper, you're going to get whipped. But if you're in a fight and keep thinking, you can win it. You can work. The most powerful weapon you have is your brain.